Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Various Bias Opinions. Welcome back to a review of Oxford United beating Portsmouth Football Club on penalties, 5-4. Unbelievable scenes. Ian Allen, Oxford superfan, tell us how you feel right now.
I feel like I've just shit out a lung. Do you know, I thought the game was never going to end. That was not a fun match to watch. Let me just turn this off on here. But we did it, Thomas. We did it. I'm absolutely delighted. I know I don't look like I am, but oh my God, that game took a lot of years off me, I think. Anybody watched it? It was scrappy, it was bitty, and it looked like the only way it was going to be settled was down on penalties. I just want to say, right straight off, because I know there's Pompey fans that watch this channel, commiserations to you guys. It could not have been any closer. Came down to one missed penalty in the end. Absolutely cruel. But from all you Oxford boys out there, we did it. We're through. We're in the final. Whew, probably against Wycombe Wanderers. Fucking amazing, Tom.
Ian, what were the teams that lined up for this match?
Yeah, so both sides did change it around a bit. Obviously, probably the biggest surprise was Mackie started up front with Taylor. We learned after the first leg that Taylor wasn't fit enough to play another full 90 minutes, and so they had to start with Mackie. I personally would have started with Dan Hadji myself. I think he just added a lot of pace, but whether he could have played 90 minutes is another thing. Mackie does what he does, but he's not a guy that can play up front on his own anymore, and that was one of the biggest problems Oxford had. Other than that, Woodburn didn't play because he didn't have a great first game, and Sykes has had a good season and came in and played instead of him. Portsmouth went again with Harrison up front, and they didn't play Marquis, but they did swap their fullbacks out. They brought in Bolton and Seddon, and McCory and Brown came out, and Ryan Williams also came in for Cannon, and just swapped it around a bit. And actually, I think they looked a bit more threatening in this game.
So, first half was nitty-gritty. I think it ended 1-1 time.
Whole game was nitty-gritty. But yeah, first half ended 1-1. I mean, it's very similar to the first game. Probably a little bit more even than the first match because Pompey dominated that first half of the first leg. Very ebb and flow with neither side really doing too much. Yeah, Mackie had a chance early doors. We hit it straight at the keeper. Warren Williams caused a lot of problems for Pompey, but the goal came really from a little flurry of play. Eastwood made a good save from Harrison. Then Brown actually found some space and shot straight at Bass. And then virtually straight from his long kick, Harrison won a header. It went to Harness, and he did really well, actually. He turned the Oxford defenders and wrong-footed Eastwood with a shot through the legs on the edge of the box. Good goal. And Oxford didn't look like scoring, really. They didn't look like scoring at all. And I guess you'd have to say the luck was with us, because if you can't be good, you've got to be lucky. And that equalising goal was, was that lucky. Straight from a corner. Henry puts it in. Virtually last kick of the half. Bass goes up. Harrison jumps with him. They make a mess of it. Harrison ends up heading it into his own net. It goes over the line by like a fag paper or cigarette paper to all our American friends. And referee had to look at the watch, give the goal, but, Oxford didn't deserve it, but got 1-1.
So, Mackie being up front, obviously, I don't think a lot of Oxford supporters are probably super happy when they saw that news. Did it pay off at the end of the day? Was that a good decision?
Oh, it's funny because he's a guy that you can't help but like, but when he plays football, you just get very frustrated with him. And it's mainly because, as I say all the time, he can't play up front on his own. He hasn't got the pace to get into the box. He either holds the ball up and then he's too slow to get on the end of it, or he's just completely isolated. If he played up front if you could find a way to have Taylor and Mackie, he'd probably end up getting maybe 8 or 9 goals in the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, as it was, because he was isolated, it meant Oxford just didn't have any balls to get in behind, and they were just passing in front of the Pompey and made it quite easy for them.
Second half, it's 1-1. Obviously, no goals are scored from halftime onwards. But what was the second half like? Was it as attritional as it feels?
Yeah, but very, very nip and tuck. Both sides had little periods where they dominated the other. Substitutions made a difference. I thought Marquis actually played really well when he came on for Pompey. Actually surprised he didn't start because he just looks a more experienced player. His hold-up play was better. When Oxford brought Taylor on, he looked like more of a threat. Dan Hadji looked like more of a threat. But Chances were at a premium. I mean, Marquis did hit the post, but it was like one of those ones. It was like almost he was headed the ball like from the byline, and it just like hit the post and went out. Dan Adji broke clear and had a really good chance at the end, and but defenders were kind of blocking Taylor, and he ended up just kind of running the ball out. Took a shot, but it was pretty tight angle. Dickey had a header right at the end, free header from a corner, which he made a bit of a mess of. Oxford could have had a penalty for a blatant shirt pull at the end, but that would have been a bit churlish because in the first leg we were very lucky with that sort of thing.
This match ends 1-1. First leg ends 1-1. We go to extra time. Obviously, away goals don't count. I'm not going to ask you to describe each overtime leg because probably each one felt like 9.5 years of your life being taken from you. But overall, what was those 30 minutes like?
Yeah, well, it just felt, the commentators kept saying it. It just felt like there was either going to be a worldie or a mistake. And both sides kind of rode that line a little bit. I know there was definitely a time where Eastwood he got a back pass and he drilled it straight against Hawkins right at the end of the game, and the ball just kind of looped in the air, and luckily it went wide. But really, Oxford were lucky again, because any Oxford fans that don't think Goran should have been sent off, then you're fucking crazy, because he's gone. He's taken a heavy touch. We know he's a heavy tackler. He took a heavy touch. He's gone in absolutely smash cannon. He's a good name for a guy he smashed as well. But he was a leg-breaking tackle, basically, Tom. It was the sort of thing you would have been disgusted if you'd seen it. He got a yellow card because the ref was extremely lenient for both sides. But, that really should have been a red. And Taylor arguably could have got sent off as well for doing a lunge where he's gone over the top of the ball and he's studied a guy. So
Pompey fans, I just want you to understand how incredibly fair Ian's being right here. He's just admitted 2 sendings off and a penalty against them, from what I can tell.
But again, I'm obviously delighted and you love winning the game, but it was just such a battle. That was like fucking like winning a bloody war. It really was. Like, so you need a little bit of downtime before like it sinks in that we're actually going to be in a final at Wembley.
I need to clarify also to all the listeners that I forgot to hit record. We've actually been recording since the penalty started, so you missed Ian doing a jig. I'm pretty sure his wife was involved. There was a crowd of children singing and dancing. I think it was. I've been with Ian now for two really like life-changing penalty shootouts. One was watching England win their first one in 35 years or something ridiculous like that, and the other one is obviously this one. And he was a very happy man. Yeah. But Ian, penalties, right? Oxford have won it 5-4. It is a total shit show in penalties. You can't judge it on anything. And Oxford are through. They're probably playing Wycombe. I can't believe I'm going to say this. There'll be a whole video dedicated to it. But how do you feel going into a match with Wycombe Wanderers?
At the moment, pretty confident. I mean, there's a lot, really, I'd say I do feel confident. It's a week off before the game. So you've got plenty of time for the players to get over this extra time period. And whether it's Fleetwood, whether it's Wycombe, whether it's Fleetwood pull off a miracle, I would say coming through that real close game, you've got to feel confident going into the final.
Is there anything else that you really want to highlight from this match or from this season in this video?
Just to keep going on about the fact of like, what a season for Oxford United. I mean, come on. This has been absolutely incredible. No one thought we were going to get in the playoffs. Although they talked about it at the start of the season, we thought this was just going to be an unrealistic dream. And not only would we get to the playoffs, but we got to the fucking final now. And so everybody's overachieved and done such a good job. And one step away from the championship.
Normally we would do shout outs and stuff, but I do not have time. Ian does not have time. So I am going to leave you with the endearing image now of Ian dancing his way to Wembley. Ian. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about.